My name is Ron Martinez, and our company is AirBook, and I'm going to talk about books in clouds. Encourage you. I'm going to encourage you. We're going to talk about books in clouds. Obviously, I'm going to encourage you to go to facebook.com/airbook for a stream of inspiring imagery and words. Our focus is entirely illustrated books. And we use both fixed layout but fixed layout with responsive and dynamic elements as well. And I put this up because I came across this recently when I first moved to New York to be a writer a long time ago in the 80s. I ended up, of course, working for a book packager, or just kind of pot boiling. And this was a choose-your-own-adventure style book that I wrote in 1984. It was illustrated. There are pathways, and if you do the wrong things, you end up in the wrong place. So it was illustrated, interactive book, and I realized I have one idea in my life. It's still that book. So today the books look a little bit different. We're collaborating with fabricators and on this lovely book that they put together as a print edition first. With Source Books, we built a line of, during the development of AirBook Maker, in fact, our core Maker product, worked with Source Books on children's books, Simple Truths. These are inspiring books, very beautifully laid out. But just to give you a sense of how they're built, increasingly we're also seeing commercial, sort of non-trade publishing applications that people are interested in, like our friends at Cho Chocolate, and I'll talk about how this gets published as a subscription model that shows up in the phone. And lovely book here, Goosebottom Books, Sharon Bridges. I don't know if Misadventuring, Carla King is in the audience here, but this is one of her, it's like a pamphlet, and it was, we actually imported it through PDF. But just to give you a sense of the kind of books that you can build. So Michael Tamblyn, who's the metrics monster, had an observation. I may not have this exactly right, but he said at one point, something like this, and if he's here, please correct me, 30% of print books are illustrated, but a tiny fraction of these are ebooks. And that's really because the formats haven't been available, but there are other problems. The formats are available now. So the problems are that there are multiple formats if you want to make graphical books. There isn't just one. They're complex and expensive to build. There are different ways that you can begin to address that, but still there's a lot of hand coding going on. Most have been originated for print, which is a very different format with a different workflow. In fact, there are millions of books that are illustrated books that could be ebooks, but the fact that they were built in InDesign or some other format has made it very difficult to convert those. Customers are everywhere. They're on the web and mobile devices, obviously. And in working with publishers over the last 2 years, we launched in July, but one of the things that we found is that the bottom one really is important to publishers. So if you're going to build these things, actually having a rational P&L, being able to make money, it turns out when you're sort of doing your visionary thing, that's the vision that they're seeing, right? And that's the vision we should be seeing. So approaching this from the standpoint of what are the ideal requirements to address these problems. And we came up with this, stepping back from an architecture standpoint. First, control needs to be in the hands of designers and not coders. Nothing against coders. I've been a coder. I've worked with coders. But there's an old saying, the people building the stages are writing the plays. For a medium to evolve, you have to get past that stage. Creation needs to come from multiple sources, and I'll say what that means in a second. Not a single authoring system, but anything that the author, the illustrator, designer is comfortable with and may already be using. You have to be able to, in this set of ideal requirements, deliver every format that matters, not one format or not two formats, but every format that matters, because that's how you get to the rational P&L and the large market. The litmus test is, can I get it on Amazon, like it or not? Delivery, any and all methods that matter. The cost need to be rational, and you need to cover discovery where people are. So coming back to my this fledgling choose your own adventure, these are style book. these are where you take different paths to get to your destination. If you take the wrong path, oops, I got the wrong one. No, it's not working. There it is. You made the wrong choice and everything blows up. So you want to make the right architectural decisions. So one of our design approaches, and this has been over 20 years, has come back, is that usually the best thing you can do is the only thing that will work, and that architecture really matters. So let me walk through the architecture we put together. And that's, needs to be, so we build the books in the cloud. And what that means is that there are multiple ways to build the book. We start it as a digital first model where you build the book in the browser. It's very much like an InDesign kind of interface, and I'll show you in a second. And then that book is sent up in real time. Every time you move a pixel, it's communicated up through the cloud, the internet, to our servers, where through AirBook Maker. And it's in the form of a lightweight, expressive XML document. You can almost tell what the pages are. I mean, in a sense, books, you can argue about the different containers, but our design premise is that a book is sort of an abstraction at this point. It's not EPUB and it's not the web. It's an abstraction. It's packaged, paginated content. So your XML describes that and also has all the media associated with it available. So I'm sorry, I'm not tapping where I should. So you can build in the browser, but also there is PDF is the export model. So if you build something in another format, we can still get it into Maker, into this abstract format. And then the importance of being in those formats is that once you have this abstraction in the cloud, you can export multiple formats. So we think of FedEx, the magic of FedEx is the hub. You're 2 hops from anywhere. If you get to Memphis, then from Memphis to Miami. So if you get into AirBook Maker format, then we can export it 1 hop to any of these other formats. And that includes the web, Kindle KF8, no color, iBooks, EPUB, iOS, Android apps. In fact, if that's what you need, and we're adding print-ready PDF. Once we have your format, there are multiple formats, ways to deliver that, including the web, retailers, app stores, and print on demand, coming soon. And then, since the book is in the cloud, we can render any pages, any elements of any pages, entire books, pretty much anywhere. So we can, thanks to this architecture, render the pages on the web. And once something is integrated with the fabric of the web, it can be integrated with the social graph and be discoverable in Google and so on. And so there's a lot of social discovery, and I'll show you also SMS in a second. And that gets you everywhere. So this is AirBook Maker, which is live since July. A couple of things I'll show you aren't public yet, but anybody can go there, airbook.com, and sign up for free. Then we'll try to figure out how to get money from you later. Let's see here. Once you sign in, you have a dashboard, and it's your sort of branded imprint, and you press a button and create a title if you want to originate here. And once you do that, then you get a sort of interface like this, and there are all the kinds of controls that you would imagine. Also, any of the items can be tapped, and you can add behaviors to them, external links, internal links, give them parallax animation. You can turn that into a button that sends an email. So the behaviors are there as well. You can import existing PDFs, the most uninteresting graphic in the world right there. But the results are interesting. And one of the things that we're exploring there is that you can there are PDFs to get into this abstract AirBook format so they can go to every other format. They really come from every source, from InDesign or Quark or even PowerPoint or Keynote. And so we're just sort of like figuring out what does that mean if you really want to democratize publishing, not necessarily to meet the needs of Big Six, but to meet the needs of ordinary people who want to publish something that lives on people's iPads or on the web. There's no reason why they couldn't use Keynote to make a children's book, because the PDF then goes into Maker. And this is what we were talking about yesterday, another source, and one that we're really interested in, and falls out of the architecture of being in the cloud, is to make books in real time on your iPhone or iPad, and maybe Android at some point. What that means is, I always have to tap here. So this was, I did this morning with my phone, and that's what I just did with the iPad, when you're adding to an AirBook title in AirBook Maker, you add images. You can select from your hard drive and so on, but here you can say, take a photo or video, or choose existing from your iOS photo library. And there's the photo I took. And then it gets uploaded, and bingo, it's part of the book. So we're kind of thinking about this. We'd love to, and we're working to put that into the hands of journalists, photojournalists, and hotspots, and we'll probably pull a publicity stunt if we can get somebody into one of the World Series games to publish a book for free about the game before they leave the stadium, and just make it available. Again, this all falls out of the architecture when you've got that sort of cloud architecture. Then you can also package things up. So it's not, in our minds, good enough to be only on the web, although there's tremendous value there. There's also a need, a business need, and also an end user reader need to be able to get things into the format where they have a library and a device and they're committed. So for example, once you have the book in this format, you can export to any number of formats. That's pressing a button. The book is built on the server. You download it. We'll be adding integrated distribution through to retail after that. You can also publish to web by enabling the web view, any or all of the pages or selected pages. That's it. Oops, what's this thing again? So publishing to the web, for example, there's a new web reader, which is mostly done, but we made it live. And this is that Free Souls book that Joey Ito's photographs. And so that's, we tap there, page drawer, navigation. This is all in HTML5. Works very nicely on the phone. It was originally designed for the phone. And there are a whole range of design issues when you're putting together illustrated books for phones. And it's been fun working with those to figure those out. That's where we got the responsive elements and putting scrollable, momentum scroll text boxes alongside or inside of very composed pages, for example. But you can get to a page you want. Since we're integrated with the web, it's a little bit difficult to see here, but this button right here brings up the kind of social sharing mechanisms. So there's you can like the page because the page has an address, and it also has all the Open Graph metadata. Metadata is important, and structure is important for search. Social metadata is one area where I think there's a lot to be done, but this is an entity. This page is an entity on the social graph, the dominant social graph, which is Facebook's, and which other outfits like Pinterest and others use in order to get information, metadata about what that page is, what that book is, what the representative image is, and so on. But here, for example, I can comment. So you have sort of automatically integrated social reading. Anybody who reads this can comment. Their comments show up in their Facebook stream. And then their friends see it, and if they click on the links, they come back here, and so on and so forth. And then there are other things like share via LinkedIn and Google Plus and Pinterest and so on, because people are everywhere and they're connected in different ways in different nodes to the net. So since you've got this cloud architecture and your work exists on the web, it can be integrated with anything. Again, falls out of the architecture. This is kind of interesting. So if you were reading this on your in the web, you can save it as a web app if you're reading it on your phone or on your iPad. But you can also download it directly to iBooks. And so if that's a sample or something, this is a way to deliver things, and there are interesting commerce applications around that. And then this is another thing that falls out of the architecture. SMS is like a trillion messages or something like that. That's a delivery channel for information, and there's no reason why it can't be a delivery channel for books. If you're already in the cloud, then you can make that happen. So the way it works, and this is live today, and I'll give you an example, is you text a keyword to a phone number. You can get your own phone number. It doesn't cost a lot of money. And that message comes back when you text the keyword. You're also put on a subscriber list you can opt out of, which is important for creating a relationship with the reader. From those links, you can get the iBooks version installed directly to your phone, or you can read it on the web, and that's that web reader. So that will go directly to your iPhone, and now it has all that other propagation and discovery built into it. This is interesting because this is the non-commercial aspects of publishing and content marketing. People are interested in it from that perspective. There are a million businesses that would like to give you something of value informationally in exchange for the privilege of sending you a text message, for example. But for Rogue Reader, that was built on the wonderful Pressbooks platform, we work with Jason Allen Ashlock, and he's using it for sampling his books. And this is all integrated in Maker. So this is an example. We're calling it a combo. I think we're going to change the name to bundle. But first you select a book that you want to send. You enter a keyword that people text to you in order to get that book. Here's your response. You're subscribed. And then you pick a phone number or add a new phone number. And you get lists of phone numbers and say, OK, I'll take that one for X dollars per month. Again, not very expensive. And then create the combo. Now that's live. And once people have sent that text message, you can communicate to them. So for periodic publishing, it's really interesting in a way because this model replicates the dynamics and aspects of the sort of app publishing model, in that there's push notifications through the SMS. You can send a message and say, like, the new issue of whatever graphic novel is now available. Come and get it. Or, pretty much anything else. And people can opt out whenever they like. So it creates that two-way communication, which makes this delivery channel really interesting. So that is AirBook Cloud Publishing. Architecture does matter because if you're architected correctly, in our view, there are a lot of different architectures and a lot of very good architectures, and I'm sure many of them will do what needs to be done. But a good architecture, more will flow from it than you ever put into it. And then the one more thing part, I was running around trying to take pictures. I got about 10 people. I did get Peter and a few others. So this morning, if you want to text BIB to that number, we'll deliver the work in progress to your phone. And then you can sort of send it wherever you like. But that's it. Thank you. Any questions? Nope. Okay, thanks. Oh, I did? Yeah. Right. Right. So what happens is we take the PDF up through, you upload the PDF, and there are fairly simple requirements for the PDF. We're like single page, no DRM. It's the kind of PDF that you might, for example, publish to the web if you were just distributing a PDF. And then on the Maker server, it's analyzed and decomposed and turned into HTML, HTML5 actually. And then once we have it in HTML format, we display we also then figure out which fonts you used and ask you for either the fonts you used, which of course you've licensed, TTFs or OTF, or alternates and substitutes. Upload those, and then page by page, just take a look and say fine, and you add it to a Maker project. It gets into that abstract XML format, and from there, that's the content hub, that's the Memphis for formats, and then you can push it out to all the other formats. You can also modify it in Maker Editor, add interactivity or links or what have you, animation. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.